Uh, shall I welcome?
Let me start. Let me start the program.
I Namaskar to all of you. I am Professor Sharma, Director NAAC speaking. Today, our esteemed colleague, Dr. Amay Kumar Ratho, he is from Veera Surendra Sai, University of Technology, Computer Science and Engineering professor. He is a very distinguished scholar and a good computer scientist. He has come on deputation to NAAC. It is almost 2 years over, and he has done yeoman service in developing and stabilizing the information communication technology of NAAC, ably assisted by Dr. Samuel Lurduraj System Analysis. He has worked from various modules of the manual and brought in scintillating effect and changes in several of the processes of ICT. With the advent of ICT in place, there is a lot of objectivity in the assessment and accreditation. Of course, the subjectivity is only 30%, which is depicted in the manual. Also, when we take into account the analysis of various grades and the pattern of evaluation, we can very easily make out a judicious combination of quantitative and qualitative metrics wherein it tends to perfection. I'm using the word tends to perfection, tends to 100%, not equal to, tends to perfection. All these things could have were achieved because of our excellent ICT team and also guidance of our senior advisors, deputy advisors, and assistant advisors. I'm proud to say that I have an excellent team supported in the NAAC. Also, we have sagacious consultants like Professor Srikanta Swami, who has had 4 decades of experience in the field of education. He was also principal of a prestigious RV Teachers Institute in Bangalore for long. Today's topic is on outcome-based education. I have heard Dr. Amay Kumar giving lectures in the field of outcome-based education with good analytical mind and innovative thinking. I'm using the word analytical mind and innovative thinking. Why analytical mind when the whole process of outcome-based education is defined? Because there are several matrices in the manual. Each and every matrices amounts to a project report which has a direct bearing onto the field. What is innovative? The innovation is in outcome-based education, there is no definition, just as in his own language, Amay Kumar belongs to computer science and engineering. Gauss elimination and Gauss Seidel method of numerical solutions. There you can have definite answers and definite solutions. It is like a quadratic equation. I've given this is the second time I'm giving the example. X squared is equal to 4 means x can either be plus 2 or minus 2. Therefore, this innovation in the metrics and report and developing a project for every metrics, which needs some kind of an innovation thought process. During the iteration of the process, you get all the evidences for the metrics, and this is innovation. Well, in outcome-based education, the role of the university and higher education is paramount. Why it is paramount? The boards of studies should not only constitute all academicians, because the thought process of an industry, the thought process of skill development, what is bearing onto the society, you'll have to draw people from different sections. That is an entrepreneur, an industrialist, as I would even go a step further, a social scientist, whether if it is in science or in social liberal arts, an engineer should be taken. This cross migration, if one has, this is what is stated in the national education policy. The word joy and opportunity, which is included in the national education policy, means a student can go from, can take audit courses or regular courses from liberal art or Sanskrit or engineering, etc. What is this outcome-based education? Outcome-based education is on field for a common man to understand. Suppose being a student of mechanical engineering, I say manufacturing engineering or production engineering or machine design. When I talk about that, I need not give only theory. In Germany and in Japan, many places, a practical aspect, what is stated in the NEP, the skill development, vocational training, etc., is embedded, is homogenized in the course curriculum. What do I mean by this? Whatever I study in production or in manufacturing, that should be directly relevant to the field. He should be an entrepreneur. Likewise, even in liberal arts also, it is not only a theory. If a person, whether in Hindustani music or in Carnatic music, if he starts the alap or if he says about swaras, the swaras are sarigama padanisa sanidapa magarisa. There, the manodharma, that is the intuitive power of a man or a human being, for an artist, it comes out. If he is a computer scientist, he can simulate the ragas, he can simulate the swaras. Therefore, a liberal arts and engineering can get together. A liberal art and physics also can get together in a tanpura. If a person plays the tanpura, he will see what is the velocity, what v is equal to n lambda, what are the cycles, and what is that lambda? Lambda is the wavelength. Without a mic, the tanpura plays, and with a mic, what is the decibel that it goes? You can go on creating, as I said, the trajectory of NEP is something very large and very meaningful. This outcome-based education is the only solution for futuristic pattern of education and future of India's development. Therefore, we at NAAC also are contemplating how best to chamfer. I would not say change. There is a difference between change and chamfer. We have taken enough and more care in formulating the matrices. One of my colleagues played a very important role, Professor Jagannath Patil played a very important role in the initial stage along with others to have the manual done under the revised accreditation framework. A very intelligent person who has zipped around the world has taken a lot of input from different corners and different higher educational institutions, and with a team of people they have done. I have excellent people, Dr. Panmudi Raj, Dr. Ganesh Hegde, Dr. Sujata Shanbag. I can name a number of people in NAAC. All of them are gems, and with great integrity and honesty, they have been doing wonderful work. Over to Dr. Amay Kumar to listen to his outcome-based education. I compliment and congratulate Professor Amay Kumar for this endeavor. I wholeheartedly thank all the listeners for my patient invocative speech. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Share my slide. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will talk on outcome-based education. This outcome-based education, my presentation will go like this: fundamentals of outcome-based education, its importance towards excellence, vision, mission, and program educational objectives, cognitive skills in Bloom's taxonomy and its applications. That means how to take a student from one level of understanding to another level of understanding, from low order thinking to high order thinking. We'll discuss in cognitive skills in Bloom's taxonomy, then course objectives and course outcome design. How to design a course outcome? What is the importance of a course outcome? What is the importance of attainment of a course outcome? What is the role of a faculty members for preparing the course outcome and for the attainment of course outcome? Then comes program outcome. What are the importance of graduate attributes? When a graduate will complete the program, what are the attributes they should possess? We'll discuss about graduate attributes. Then program specific outcome. Then COPO mapping. What is the mapping? What is the metrics between course outcome and program outcome and the justification for COPO mapping? Then attainment of course outcome, attainment of program outcome. I have taken a case studies to make you understand the attainment of course outcome and program outcome. Then something like teaching and learning process. How to make the students understand in the class. When NEP talks about student centric learning, we'll talk something about teaching learning. Then the importance of change, why this change is important. See, I am speaking to all of you without knowing how many people are really attending my lectures or how many people are there in the class. We all have adjusted to that. I will talk about a change. There are a lot of research people have done on intelligence, because it's very important to understand the intelligence profile of a student. At the end, I will discuss about theory of multiple intelligence. The vision of NAAC is to make quality the defining element of higher education in India through a combination of self-evaluation and external evaluation, promotion and sustenance initiatives. Similarly, our mission is periodic assessment and accreditation of higher education institutions, promotion of quality of teaching, learning and research in higher education, to encourage self-evaluation, accountability, autonomy and innovations, to undertake quality related research studies, consultancy and training programs, and collaborate with other stakeholders of higher education. Our value framework or guiding element for assessment and accreditation process is contributing to national development, fostering global competencies among students, inculcating value system among students, and promoting the use of technology and quest for excellence. By looking at this assessment and accreditation, we have gone for 7 different criteria. If you look at some of the quotes, thinking is progress, non-thinking is stagnation of the individual, organization, and the country. Thinking leads to action. Knowledge without action is useless and irrelevant. Knowledge with action converts adversity into prosperity. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam always used to say the best brains of the nation may be found on the last benches of the classroom. There are some quotes in my 2 to 3 slides. I will talk about some quality, different quotes of quality. Quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. John Ruskin, he was the leading English art critic of the Victorian era. He talked about quality. Similarly, quality is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. It represents the wide choice of many alternatives. Mr. Foster was United States Marine who received the Medal of Honor for his conspicuous gallantry. And okay, then next is the way we communicate with others and with ourselves ultimately determines the quality of our lives. Similarly, Henry Ford used to say, quality means doing it right when no one is looking. Alex Carroll used to say the quality of life is more important than life itself. We talk about quality of higher education institutions, talk about quality of the institutions, quality of faculty members, quality of students, quality of infrastructure, physical as well as digital infrastructure, and quality of teaching learning process. If you talk about 21st century, 21st century is the age of information. This particular 21st century age is fueled by knowledge economy. That knowledge economy values problem solving and critical thinking skills over the rote skills of industrial era. So look at this. It says the Alvin Toffler used to say the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Let us take a simple example. We have learned the technique of speaking before a laptop where no one is present. Nobody is present in the class, but still I am, see, last 30 years I was talking to, interacting with the students. Today, see, nobody is there. Last 8 months, we are teaching by looking at the laptop. So it's very important that learn, unlearn, and relearn. We have unlearned and relearned the habit of talking before a laptop, teaching before a laptop, in the virtual classrooms, in the e-learning. See, when we talk about what is outcome-based engineering education or simply outcome-based education, it's not what we teach, it's what you learn. So that's what we NEP, National Education Policy, talks about student-centric learning. So what I'm teaching is not important. Whether my students are learning or not, that's very important. The faculty has to do a lot of exercise, lot of innovative technique in the classroom to see that students learn in the classroom, students participate in the classroom. All the graduate attributes which I will discuss in my subsequent slides, students should inculcate, students should possess those attributes, the skills, competencies, behavior, attitude of the students has to be developed. Outcome-based education says it gives a clear picture of what is important for students when we talk about curriculum. So we need to understand what is important for students. Then accordingly, we have to organize our curriculum, organize the delivery mechanism, the teaching learning process, and the assessment. When we talk about assessment, we should look at the direct assessment as well as indirect assessment. Indirect assessment, we collect feedback from different stakeholders. We collect feedback from students. We should go for student exit survey to know whether I should redesign my curriculum if I teach the same course in the next year. So my point is, we should understand what is important for students, accordingly organize the curriculum, organize the delivery mechanism, the teaching learning process, and the assessment. If you do that, then surely the learning happens. See, outcome-based education talks about outcome-based curriculum. In the outcome-based curriculum, we should see what is important for the students. Then outcome-based learning and teaching. Outcome-based learning and teaching is faculty plays a significant role in outcome-based learning and teaching. How to make the students achieve the outcome is important. Here, faculty plays a significant role. Then outcome-based assessment. So when we are teaching outcome-based learning and teaching, how to measure the student, whether the student have achieved it or not, that's important. So outcome-based assessment is important. Okay. So what are outcomes? Outcome of education is what the student able to do at the end of the program, at the end of the course, at the end of the unit. So we talk about unit outcome, we talk about module outcome, we talk about course outcome, and we talk about program outcome. So in outcome-based education, decisions about the curriculum are driven by the exit learning outcomes. The decisions about the curriculum are driven by the exit learning outcomes. When we talk about, when we take input from the students, when we take input from the students, based on the input, we should develop the curriculum. There is a continuous improvements of outcomes. That means when we take input from students, then it will help us in redesigning the curriculum in the next year. So, yeah, what is the deficiency of traditional education? Traditional educations are very little attention, or not much attention is given to whether the students learn the material or not. Students are given grades, students are given rankings compared to each other. It is always exam oriented and CGPA driven. Graduates are not completely prepared for workforce. I remember always the industry used to say that graduates are not employable. Graduates are not prepared for the workforce. Employability, we talk about employability. And there is a lack of emphasis on soft skills, lack of emphasis on communication skills, interpersonal skills, analytical skills, and working attitudes, team building. These are all important. We understand that there is a deficiency of traditional education. Then when we talk about outcome-based educations, we expect it focuses more on what students can do or the qualities they should develop after they are taught. When they taught a particular subject, what are the qualities, what are the outcomes? Similarly, it involves restructuring of the curriculum by taking the input from different stakeholders, by taking the input from students. We call it as student exit survey. So it involves restructuring the curriculum, restructuring the assessment process, and reporting practices in education to reflect the achievement of high order learning and mastery rather than accumulation of course credits. Accumulation of course credits, accumulation of degrees are not important, mastery of subjects are important. Students having high order thinking skills are important. Both structures and curricula are designed to achieve those capabilities or qualities. Discourages traditional education approaches based on direct instruction of facts and standard methods. Students demonstrate they have learned whatever they have learned. Students should demonstrate the required skills and content. That means if you need to understand the intelligence profile of a student, it is the duty of faculty members to understand what is the intelligence profile of a student. Whether the student is interpersonal intelligence, whether he is intrapersonal intelligence, linguistic intelligence, kinesthetic intelligence, mathematical logical intelligence, what is the intelligence profile of a student? What is the prominent intelligence in a student? What is the least intelligence in a student? Apply the prominent intelligence to improve the least intelligence. It's very important when we structure the classroom, when we are teaching the same subject for 10 years, why somebody will give you 10 years experience? Why can't it be 1 year experience? It is the duty of faculty members to understand the intelligence profile of students, make it a cluster of intelligence. Those students possess similar behavior, similar intelligence profile, make them in a group, make them a cluster, try to improve the intelligence profile of those students who doesn't possess those intelligence profile. I'll give you simple examples. Suppose somebody possesses good mathematical logical intelligence but very poor in communication skills. If you tell them whatever I have explained in the class, can you just summarize whatever I have explained in the class? Then he will not be very much interested. If you tell him to solve a problem in the class because he is very good in mathematical and logical skills, if you tell him to solve a problem in the class, he will be much interested. apply the prominent intelligence, improve the least intelligence. That is very important. In our manual also we spoke about how to understand the who is the advanced learners, who is the slow learners. We have to look, we have to look for, we have to take care of both type of students. We have to look for, I mean, who are the advanced learners, how to encourage those students, how to motivate those students to participate in different competitions. Those who are slow learners, we should have some classes like remedial classes, coaching classes, so that they will understand the class. So that's very important. In outcome based education, okay, this is as I was mentioning, continuous quality improvement is important. Continuous quality improvement in curriculum, quality improvement in teaching learning process, quality improvement in assessment. If you do that, then only this outcome based education is achieved. Look at this. When we talk about outcomes, we talk about plan. Plan is you are defining course learning outcomes. We are defining program learning outcomes. You are defining program educational objectives, and you are defining the mission of the institute or the mission of the universities. Then do. Do means the teaching learning process. So whether I have got the course syllabus, whether I prepare the lesson plans, what are the pedagogies I will teach in the class for each subject, for each unit that I am teaching. What is the teaching methodologies I should practice? What is the teaching learning process, and what is the assessment? What kind of assessment I should have to assess the students? That is important. Next is check is your assessment, course assessment, program assessment, university assessment. Similarly, the last one is your improvement. When I was mentioning about improvement is nothing but continuous improvement in learning outcomes, continuous improvement in learning activities, continuous improvement in learning assessment. So outcome based education, step one, you can say define results to be measured. That is a continuous improvement. Identify the data required and sources. Review existing assessment methods. Define additional methods and measures and implement and evaluate. It's a continuous improvement. It's a cycle. Look at this OBE framework. In OBE framework, institution has got a mission, institution has got the vision, then the program educational objectives. I will define each terminologies in my subsequent presentation. Then student outcomes, performance indicators and curricular mapping, course learning outcomes. Then with course learning outcomes, then plan for the course planning and delivery, syllabus, teaching methods, learning activities, assessment tasks. Then go for assessment. You assessment for the course assessment by the faculty members, then program assessment after completing the program, maybe a BSc program, maybe a BTech program. After completing the program, go for program assessment, then go for institutional assessment. Ultimately, the vision of the institute has to be fulfilled. Ultimately, the mission of the institute has to be fulfilled. Then after assessment, again how to improve it. Go for improvements. From improvements, again this cycle will continue. But in the process, left side you can see in the process, you can take inputs from the parents, input from the students, industry, professionals, and organizations. So we can take feedback when we are preparing our course outcomes, when we are preparing our program outcomes, the mission and vision of the institute. It's very important to involve all the stakeholders, the academicians, the peer academicians, the industry personnel. All those people will be involved for defining our course outcomes, program outcomes, mission and vision of the institute. Go to the next slide. Okay. Yeah. what are expected of students under OB? What you expect from the student? We talk about outcome-based education. National education policy talks about outcome-based education. But what is the expectation from the students? The expectation is the students are expected to do more challenging tasks. Simply remembering, memorizing, producing the answer script, we don't want that. Students should do more challenging tasks. What are the challenging tasks students should do? They should be in a position to write project proposals. They should be in a position to complete the project, analyze case studies, give case presentations, show their abilities to think, question, research, and make decisions based on the findings. They should be more creative. They should work in a team. They should be able to analyze, synthesize information, able to plan and organize tasks as a community, and they should be an entrepreneur. These are all skills we want that students should possess under outcome-based education. Focus or benefits of OB. Look at this. When OB addresses following questions, what are the questions OB addresses? The first one is, what do we want the students to have able to do? For that, you define your program outcome, define your course outcome. Then what happens is, how can we best help students achieve it? Whatever we have defined, the course outcome we have defined the program outcomes, how students will achieve it. For that, go for effective pedagogy, teaching, learning. Next is, how will we know whether the students have achieved it? How do you know? Go for formative assessment and go for summative assessment. Then last one is, how do we close the loop? What is the necessary for closing the loop? For closing the loop for further improvement, continuous quality improvement. For that, we need to close the loop. If you look at this, in this outcome-based education, the benefit is more directed and coherent curriculum. They focus more on curriculum. Even the national education policies focuses on the curriculum. In outcome-based education, we focuses on the curriculum. We cannot teach the same curriculum for more years. We should understand what is the requirement of students. Then graduates will be more relevant to industry. That's very important. Our students are input to the industry. So we should see what is the requirement of the industry and the other stakeholders. More well-rounded graduates. Next is continuous quality improvement. Whatever we do today, it should be a continuous quality improvement. We cannot hold it for a long time. We should see that how to complete the loop and what should be the continuous quality improvement. We talk about, look at this hierarchy. When I will be explaining in my subsequent slides also, learning outcomes, then we have program outcomes, then we have program educational objectives. Traditional teaching process, as I mentioned earlier, teaching staff, curriculum, labs, teaching and learning, students, graduations. So in teaching, learning, assessment takes place via examination, test, assignments, etc. Then graduation completed. What is content-based learning and what is activity-based learning? Content-based learning is, students are usually reactive and passive, waiting for what the teacher does or decides. Students used to be a passive listener in the class. But in activity-based learning, students learn actively without expecting the teacher to decide for them. The decision margin for student is very small in case of a content-based learning, but a lot of freedom for student is provided in activity-based learning for the decisions to be taken regarding certain important elements in the learning. Then in content-based learning, we have individual learning is fostered, but in activity-based learning, it fosters collaborative learning with their classmates. Students do not have much space for individual learning, but students have the chance to be autonomous in their learning. So it focuses more on collaborative learning, collaborative learning, participative learning, etc. Memory and content replication skills in content-based learning, and students have skills related to processes based on results and not selecting and managing information. In content-based learning, we have personal and professional education is frequently limited to certain periods of life. but lifelong personal and professional teaching, learning. And we talk about what is the relationship between industry and academia, because our students go as an input to the industry. There should be a strong bondage, there should be a strong, healthy relationship between the academia and industry, because we are preparing our students to ready to meet the expectations of industry. To It's very important to bridge the gap between the academia and industry. Industry expectations, the academia should meet the industry expectations. Okay. OBE shifts. Now, if you look at the outcome-based education, as I mentioned earlier, also teaching staff, curriculum, then teaching learning, then program and subject outcomes, graduation at outcome, then long-term program educational outcomes. So you take input from different stakeholders, feedback from industry, alumni, and other stakeholders, then complete the program education outcomes, involve all the stakeholders, like take input from employers, industry advisors, academic staff, public and parents, students, and alumni. Outcomes in OB is vision and mission of the institute, program educational objectives, program outcomes, and course outcomes. They are interrelated, complement to each other. Some are short term and some are long term. Which one is short term? Short term is program outcomes and course learning outcomes. They are short term. Long term is program educational objectives and vision and mission of the institute. This slides already I've shown you. Course outcomes at the below course outcome, you should have unit outcome, you should have program outcomes, then program outcomes. Program outcomes, when you are defining, it should be based on the graduate attributes. What is graduate attributes? There are 12 graduate attributes defined. I will in my subsequent slides, I'll show you the 12 graduate attributes. What is the skills, competency profiles, attitude of the students, behavior of the students should be developed. Accordingly, we have to develop our program outcomes. At the end of the program, when they complete a program, what is a program? BSc Computer Science is a program. BTech Computer Science is a program. BCom is a program. When they complete a program, what are the attributes they should possess? That is nothing but graduate attributes. So when you are defining program outcomes, it should contain all the graduate attributes that has been defined. Look at this. What are the graduate attributes? I have mentioned engineering here. Don't look at only engineering. It is any disciplines, any program you are offering in your college. Engineering knowledge is one graduate attributes. It is not only engineering knowledge. Any subject specific which you are teaching, that's knowledge. Problem analysis, design and development of solutions, conduct investigation of complex problems, modern tool uses, engineer and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communications, project management and finance, and lifelong learning. These are all graduate attributes. These are all graduate attributes. Whenever you are defining a program outcomes, it should contain all the graduate attributes I have defined here. At the end of the program, we expect that students should inculcate all the graduate attributes that I have defined here. That means now look at this, role of teaching learning process. Role of a faculty members, for so that all the graduate attributes defined has students should have those attributes. Yeah, this is again course learning outcomes, program learning outcomes, program educational objectives, and always there is a feedback. Because we expect continuous quality improvement. Say what you want, do what you say, prove it, improve it. Otherwise, everything. Say what you want, do what you say, do it, prove it, improve it. Always there is a continuous quality improvement, and there is a cycle. When we talk about accreditation, why accreditation? Why we go for accreditation? There are different accreditation agencies. Some of them are program accreditation, some of them are NAAC is institutional accreditation. Why somebody should go for accreditation? It's basically for quality assurance, recognition by all the stakeholders, branding, and recognition of graduates globally. Purpose of accreditation is enhancement of their quality, confidence and assurance on quality to various stakeholders, including students, assurance of good standing of an institutions to government departments and other bodies, operation and maintenance of quality in education. Benefits are institutions should know what is the strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges. The institutions should initiate the innovations and modern methods of pedagogy, gives institutions a new sense of direction and identity. It provides society with reliable information on quality of education offered. High academic quality assures prospective employers for placement, gaining confidence of stakeholders. These are all benefits of accreditation. The impact of accreditation is quality improvements, improve student enrollment in the colleges, help the institution in securing funds from different bodies, enhance employability of graduates, recognition of degrees, mobility of graduates, motivates faculty members to participate actively in academic, helps create sound and challenging academic environment, contributes to social and economic development of the country by producing high quality manpower. Then imperative of accreditation, funding decisions, state recognition of qualification, certification of professionals, accountability of institutions to stakeholders, encouraging self-improvement initiatives by institutions, quality assurance of educational programs. What is outcome based? As I was mentioning, it's very important. The knowledge, skills, and attitudes has to be. So, what is a vision? See, I mean, I know this. Many institutions they do one day entire activities to define the vision of the institute, to define the mission of the institute. Vision without actions is a mere dream. Actions without vision passes the time, and vision with actions changes the world. Vision with action changes the world. So, mission and vision statement. Mission statements are essentially the means to achieve the vision. Vision, suppose I'll give a simple example. Vision is to create high quality engineering professionals. That is the vision. What is the mission? Mission could be offer a well-rounded, well-balanced programs of instruction, practical experience, opportunities for overall personality development. If you do that, the vision is high quality engineering to create high quality engineering professionals will be fulfilled. Vision is futuristic statement. Mission is always the means to achieve the vision statement. A vision statement focuses on tomorrow and what an organization wants to ultimately become. A mission statement focuses on today and what an organization does to achieve it. That's a different mission and vision statement. Good mission statements should be very clear, concise, and useful. Primary audiences and functions of a mission statement. External, inform others of what you do. People should know what is your vision. What is the vision of the institute? Whenever we give a presentation, we talk about vision of NAAC and mission of NAAC, irrespective of what you are presenting, irrespective of whether we present assessment and accreditation, whether we present AQAR, or whether we present theme-based workshop, where we talk about vision. Everybody in this, all the stakeholders should know what is the vision. Everybody should remember the vision of the organizations and mission of the organization. Every students, every faculty members should know and should remember the vision and mission of the particular institute. So guidelines, mission statements should be easy to understand, short and to the point, and very useful, and okay, clear, concise, and useful, as I was mentioning. Look at this. The mission of University of Cambridge is to contribute to society through the pursuit of education, learning, and research at the highest international levels of excellence. The mission of University of Houston is to offer nationally competitive and internationally recognized opportunities for learning, discovery, and engagement to a diverse population of students in a real-world setting. The mission of MIT is to advance knowledge and educate students in science, technology, and other areas of scholarship that will best serve the nation and the world in the 21st century. These are the mission statements of some of the universities. Similarly, mission of IIT Bombay, the vision statement as I was mentioning. I'll just skip this slide. Okay, yeah. Okay. See, whenever you are preparing, the process for defining program educational objectives, you should take feedback from different stakeholders, take feedback from students, take feedback from faculty members, alumni, employers, then finalize the program educational objectives, which has to be published in different places, so that all the stakeholders should be aware of the program educational objectives. What is a program educational objective? Program educational objectives are always a broad statement. It will be a broad statement. What it describes? It describes the career and professional accomplishment that the program is preparing graduates to achieve. So look at this. Whenever a faculty is teaching a course, we talk about course outcomes. When a student has completed a program, we talk about program outcome. It never ends there. When the student is going for the job, after completing 3 to 5 years, we try to find out the program educational objectives. Then we will map the program educational objectives with the mission of the institute. I will give it in my subsequent slides. Okay. PEOs are measured 4 to 5 years after graduation. So we talk about alumni. Why we talk about alumni? Because we want to see whether our students achieve the program educational objectives or not. They are set in order to measure the effectiveness of the program and to check whether it has prepared the students to deal with the real world, where they could apply and use the skills and knowledge. Otherwise, what happens is, based on the input only. Why in outcome-based education we talk more about curriculum? You prepare the curriculum based on the input from different stakeholders. You take the input of students as a student exit survey. Okay. There are sample CSC department. You can look at the program educational objectives examples. Graduates who have entered industry will have demonstrated a mastery of their field. Graduates who continued their education beyond bachelor's level will have the necessary background to successfully complete advanced degrees. And last one, you can look at this. Lifelong learning is important. Lifelong learning is very important. Learning and will possess the skills to adapt and thrive in the rapidly changing field of computer science. See, as I was mentioning, what is the relationship between a program? Ultimately, our objective is the vision of the universities or the institution should be fulfilled. We should look at the mission. The mission of the institute is to educate scientists and engineers to address global challenges, to innovate, to reach our creative potential, to engage in partnership to transform society. See, there are 5 program educational objectives I have mentioned here. You try to look at this, the mapping of consistency of program educational objectives with the mission of the institute. I link with the mission program educational objectives with the missions, institutional missions. So we need to have program educational objectives and the link with the missions. See, graduates who have entered industry will have demonstrated a mastery of their field. This is a program educational objective. It's linked with to educate scientists and engineers to address global challenges. This is our mission statement. They link with that. Similarly, again it links with to innovate to reach our creative potentials. So this is our consistency of program educational objectives with the mission. Okay. So who are the stakeholders of the institute? Students are the stakeholders, faculty members are the stakeholders, supporting staff are the stakeholders, industry and employers are stakeholders, parents are stakeholders, government and society, they are all stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders of higher education? Government. Why government is stakeholders? Because government funds and needs educate the students, educate the populations for higher education policy and direction. Similarly, private providers. Private providers, they invest funds often for business sustainability or betterment of community as well as for enhancement of the reputation. Similarly, quality assurance agencies and professional bodies, they ensure standards and the registration of higher education programs, qualifications. Professional associations have vested interest in the quality of educational offerings. These are all higher education providers. Similarly, student and prospective students, learners who forego other activities and perhaps income to undertake studies in higher education providers. They are studying, they are the input. Parents and sponsors of students, parties investing financially, parents are investing financially and personally in higher education. Staff, academic and administrative staff, their livelihood is very important for higher education provider. So industry and employers, they employ the graduates, alumni, they are interested in the reputation of the institutions, community in general. They are citizens who are aware of the social impact of higher education providers and of their graduates on the community. So these are all stakeholders of higher education. We should meet the demand, we should meet the need of all the stakeholders of higher education. So what stakeholders look for? Infrastructure, buildings and facilities, faculty, good faculty members with good publications, good teaching learning, industry interactions, brand building, employability, placement records, what students can do after graduating. Whether institution provides all that is necessary for a confident engineer of tomorrow, preparing the students for a 21st century engineer. My point is, or whether all that is provided by the institute or not. Program educational objectives, as I was mentioning, it describes the expected achievement of graduates in their career, first few years after in their career. What is program outcomes? Program outcomes expected to know and able to perform or attain by the time of graduation. By the time of graduation, whether the students possess necessary skills, competencies, knowledge, behavior, and attitudes, whether students possess those skills or not. Students are like raw materials when they take admissions. We need to make them as a finished good. Those finished products will be sellable in the market. So employability of students, it is the duty of faculty members to see that the education, whatever they take up, maybe a BTech education or maybe a BCom or BSc in 3 years or 4 years, they spend in the institute. It is the duty of faculty members to take the students as a raw materials and make them as a finished product. What is finished products? The skills, knowledge, competencies, attitudes, and behavior of the students has to be developed. So program outcomes and progress. See, look at this. Program outcomes. What is program specific outcomes? The program outcomes for BTech computer science and BTech electronics may be same, but the program specific outcomes may be different. Apart from program outcomes, you should have some program specific outcomes. I can define a program specific outcomes for a computer science and engineering students or BSc computer science students. At the end of graduations, my students could be able to meet the challenges of the IT industries or to get employment in IT industries. That can be my program specific outcomes as far as computer science is concerned. Similarly, for other programs, every program should have some program specific outcomes apart from the program outcomes they define. Okay, this, yeah. What is course outcomes? Course outcomes are always narrower statements, again that describe whether the students are expected to know and be able to do at the end of each course. I have completed the course. Faculty have completed the course. What is the learning level of the student is important. Whether learning level is the scoring of marks or learning level is student has really improved the skills, knowledge, competencies in that subject. That is important. Always see, gone are those days where we have traditional education process, only scoring of marks, first class, these are all. But here the important is skills, knowledge, competencies on that particular course is important. So then assessment comes, as I was mentioning, I mean curricular, then delivery mechanism, then assessment. Assessment is one or more processes carried out by the institution that identify, collect, and prepare data to evaluate the achievement of program educational objectives and program outcomes. Mapping of program educational objectives to mission is important. It will be like a matrix form, then program outcomes, course outcomes, mapping is important. It may be done for one-to-one mapping or many-to-one mapping, one-to-one, many-to-one, or many-to-many mapping. One particular program educational objectives, one to many. It can be mapped to many mission statement which I have defined there. Similarly, many to many mapping or many to one mapping between the program educational objectives and the mission statement. Then what is a rubrics? Rubrics is a keyword which is very important. Rubrics, it provides a powerful tool for assessment and grading of student work. For grading, rubric is a tool for assessment and grading. Rubrics are scoring or grading tool used to measure a student's performance and learning across a set of criteria and objectives. Rubrics communicate to students and to other markers. They know about it. What is your expectations in the assessment? What is important? How we will evaluate? How we will assess the students? That is nothing but your rubrics. What is thinking? Thinking process is core component of engineering learning. Is our engineering education make our students to think like an engineer? I've given an example of engineer. It is applicable to all branches of science and engineering. Is our students think like an engineer? So teacher teaches knowledge and students learns knowledge. Factual knowledge of terminologies, conceptual theories, models, structures. Procedural knowledge of subject specific skills and algorithms. Metacognitive self-assessment, thinking about thinking. How can we enhance the thinking levels of our learners? How can we enhance the thinking levels of our learners? Benjamin Bloom says, education should focus on mastery of subjects and the promotion of higher forms of thinking rather than a utilitarian approach to simplify transferring facts. It is not only simply transferring the facts, but to make the students learn the higher forms of thinking. So the old version is knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluations. One of the students of Bloom's, he has defined the lower thinking to higher thinking, like remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. So Bloom's taxonomy is one of the most popular and extensively used framework of teacher thinking. A team under the headship of Dr. Benjamin Bloom constructed this framework way back in 1956. As per Bloom's learning, this is bisected into three areas of educational activity. One is cognitive, another is affective, and psychomotor. What is cognitive? Cognitive is involving conscious intellectual activity as thinking, reasoning, or remembering. Similarly, affective is influencing feelings or emotions. Affective meaning of the word is connected to a person's personal emotions and how they would influence word choice. Similarly, psychomotor is psychology of relating to or characterizing movements of the body associated with mental activity. Okay, this is cognitive area embroils knowledge and the development of intellectual skills. There are 6 main kinds of abilities and skills under cognitive area. Look at this. One is out of date, that is their nouns are nouns. Then another is new version is verbs. As I mentioned, Lauren Anderson is a student of Bloom who has defined remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. How to take a student from low order thinking to high order thinking is important. It's not whenever you are defining question paper in the examinations, whenever you are defining the mid-semester examinations, the assignments, there should be something from high order thinking skills. There's a relationship between original Bloom's taxonomy with the one of the Anderson's taxonomy. That there is a relationship. Okay, whenever you define a course outcome, I'm explaining this because whenever you're defining a course outcome, you should take the high order thinking verbs of Bloom's taxonomy. In remembering, you can use state, recall, list, label, and name. In understanding, you can use the verb explain, summarize, comprehend, interpret. In applying, you can use solve, compute, demonstrate, and use. Similarly, in analyzing, you can use infer, analyze, identify, compare, relate. In evaluating, you can use evaluate, contrast, critic, appraise. In creating, you can use generate, design, construct, write, and reorganize. Huh? Is my voice audible? Okay. In Bloom's taxonomy, if you look at this Bloom's taxonomy, in remembering, can the student recall or remember the information? In understanding, can the student explain ideas or concepts? In applying, can the student use information in a new way? Analyzing, can the student distinguish between different parts? Evaluating, can the student justify a stand or a decision? Creating, can the student create a new product or point of view? So, high order thinking skills, it takes the students to a completely new level. So, what is important is in higher thinking skills, you should have logical thinking, metacognitive, critical thinking, and creative thinking. If you have that, if you inculcate those in the mind of the students, then you can achieve high order thinking skills. I'll give simple examples. I've taken example of this example I used to tell when I take a lecture on this. What is remembering? State Ohm's law. Without understanding what is Ohm's law, student can tell this is Ohm's law. If you might have seen a movie called Three Idiots. In Three Idiots, it is a very good examples how to involve the students, how to make the students participate instead of remembering and producing the things. You know, if you have seen Three Idiots, you can understand how to improve the high order thinking skills of the students. Understanding is what is I equals to V by R. I is current, V equal to voltage, and R equal to resistance. Without understanding, you can't explain. Then applying is apply Ohm's law to solve a simple problem. Analyze Ohm's law, try to find out what is the current flow in 6 ohm resistors. My point is, whenever we are teaching the students, we should take the students from low order thinking to high order thinking. This is another example of physics. I will just skip it. Role of academia to promote high order thinking skills. This is a significant step to introduce students to higher order thinking skills. Okay, we have skills that promote higher order thinking skills, problem solving skills, creative thinking skills, critical thinking skills. Creative thinking tries to create something new. Critical thinking seeks to assess worth or validity in something that already exists. Okay, yeah, I'll skip this slide. National education policy talks about enhance the thinking levels of learners, Bloom's taxonomy, low order thinking to high order thinking. It talks about there is a lot of changes in the knowledge landscape with various dramatic scientific technological advances such as big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence. Many unskilled jobs worldwide will be taken over by machines. So we need to produce skilled workforce. Skilled workforce in the area of mathematics, computer science, data science, in conjunction with multidisciplinary abilities across the sciences, social sciences, and humanities. That's very important. They will be of increasing demand. Children are not only learn, but more importantly, learn how to learn is important. So there should be less content, more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems. And things will be always multidisciplinary. Always it should be multidisciplinary. Use of pedagogy, they have focused more on use of pedagogy, digital educations, online educations, and all that. Reforming the curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support. Multidisciplinary institutions of higher learning, research intensive university, teacher intensive universities, autonomous degree granting, academic bank of credits, all those things they have mentioned in the national education policies. This outcome based education is an approach where we lead towards or we align towards the implementation of national education policy. What is course outcome designing? Course outcomes are what the students should be able to do at the end of a course. At the end of a course, what they should be able to do. The most important aspect of course outcome is it should be always measurable. It should be always the attributes, the skills, the knowledge, the competencies, what they have learned when they are successfully completing the course. It should be always student focused, not professors focused, not professor centered, not only not coverage, not course coverage oriented. It should focus on objectives and outcomes. It should focus on abilities central to the disciplines. It should focus on aspects of learning. And whenever you are defining a course outcomes, it should be manageable in number. It should not be a 10 course outcomes, 20 course outcomes. It should be 5 to 6 course outcomes defining. I will take a simple example: computer applications in business. The course outcome maybe at the end of the course, student will be able to apply information technology in business. At the end of the course, student will be able to understand e-commerce, m-commerce, understand computer basics, acquire practical knowledge about MS Word, MS Excel, etc. At the end of the course, student will be able to use of MIS at various levels of management. Similarly, this is another course outcome for a subject, human resource and management. At the end of the course, students will be able to apply right recruitment and selection process, incorporate themselves in the changing environment, analyze training needs. So analyze, apply, create, evaluate, all those terminologies you can use whenever you are defining course outcomes. Similarly, this is another course outcomes for the subject principles and practice of management. Mapping of course outcomes with program outcomes. Program outcomes, as I mentioned, the skills, knowledge, attitude, behavior, and competency of graduates has to be developed. Yeah. Whenever we define a program outcomes, ability to acquire and apply fundamental principles of science and engineering. This is one of the program outcomes. Capability to communicate effectively. Acquisition of technical competence in specialized areas of engineering discipline. Ability to identify, formulate, model problems, and find engineering solutions based on a systematic approach. Ability to conduct research. Understanding the importance of sustainability and cost effectiveness in design and development of engineering solutions. Understand and commitment to professional and ethical responsibilities. Similarly, work effectively as an individual and as a member or leader of the team. Ability to be multi-skilled engineer with good technical knowledge, management, leadership, and entrepreneurial skills. Awareness of the social, cultural, global, and environmental responsibilities as an engineer. Capability and enthusiasm for self-improvement through continuous and development and lifelong learning. These are all program outcomes. So as I was mentioning, program specific outcome is beyond POs. So course outcomes, then the program outcomes. Whenever you're defining program outcomes, it should be based on the graduate attributes, then the program educational objectives, then the mission. So whenever you are defining a program outcomes, it should be all the graduate attributes has to be focused in the program outcomes, like engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design and development of solutions, conduct investigation of complex problems, modern tool usage, engineering society, environment and sustainability, ethics, individual and teamwork, communication, project management and finance, and lifelong learning. Okay. Parameters considered in measuring the attainment of graduate attributes. Engineering learning experiences or student learning experiences, teaching and learning methods employed in engineering education. So curriculum, co-curricular activities, other academic activities, 12 graduate attributes: curricular, co-curricular and other academic activities, then leads to the necessary knowledge, skills, competencies, behavior, attitude of the students should be developed at the output. So whenever you are defining a program outcomes, you can see that all the program outcomes you have defined, you map it with the curriculum. Look at this in program outcome 3, the curriculum percentage is only 5.33%. 5.33% of curriculum contains the program outcome 3. Do you think student will inculcate the skills, knowledge, competencies of program outcome 3? No, it's not possible. So what you can do is to inculcate the knowledge, skills in program outcome 3, try to conduct some kind of workshops for the students, so that instead of 5.33, so if you conduct such workshops, they can inculcate the skills which is available in program outcome 3. In the academic process, you have course choice, allotment, academic calendar, timetable, CO defining course outcomes, COPO mapping, syllabus, books, lesson plans, question bank, plan for test, plan to cover content beyond syllabus, practical, tutorial plan, etc. Then lectures, labs with pedagogical methods. It's a delivery mechanism. First one is plan, second one is curriculum, third one is delivery mechanism, then fourth one is assessment. In the delivery mechanism, you have lecture, labs with pedagogical learning methods, co-curricular activities, projects, delivery for weak and bright students, industry institute interactions. In the co-curricular, you can have industry institute interaction activities, add-on courses. Then the assessment, try to find out course outcome assessment, program outcome assessment, etc. Next, like in your course outcomes, suppose CO1 to CO5, there are test 1 20%, test 2 20%, mid semester examination 10%, assignments 2 12 20%, end semester examination 30% of the course, so total is 100%. Similarly in CO5, 50% end semester examination, 20% assignments, tutorials, etc. Next is your course outcome assessment process and tools. Always you are defining course outcomes, set target level. What is my target level? Course outcome target or target level. Then prepare COPO mapping and PSO. COPO mapping and PSO metrics. Then the assessment. In the assessment, you have direct assessment and in the indirect assessment. Direct assessment, I have given it as 80%. Indirect assessment, I have given it as 20%. Direct assessment is university examinations, internal test, continuous assessment. Similarly, there are weightages I've given, attainment levels 1, 2, 3. If it is more than 60%, 1, more than 85%, 2, more than 96%, 3. These are the attainment levels. So, okay, let us, for this particular course outcomes, okay, this is again assessment equal to, I mean, you can see that roll number 1 to 60, the sum you have calculated for each question carries 10 weightage. Assessment equal to X, total X, I mean, divide by 16 to 100, X by 16 to 100, whatever the student score, then attainment equal to assessment divide by target. So look at this. This I am explaining course outcomes here. This is COPO mapping. There are two ways you can do it. Entire course outcome for a particular course can be mapped onto program outcomes as well as program specific outcomes. How you can map, whether there will be a slight correlations, low correlations, moderate, medium correlations, substantial, high correlations, or no correlations. If it is low correlations, I put 1. If it is moderate, I put 2. If it is substantial, I put 3. No correlations, I didn't put anything there. This is course to program outcome mapping. Now, this is more elaborately I have given here. Course outcome for a particular course, CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5. This CO1 is mapped to PO1. What is the correlations level? 2. Because they are correlated based on whatever you have defined in course outcome 1, they are moderately correlated with program outcome 1. Similarly, CO2 strongly correlated with PO1. Okay, that is there are two ways I have explained. The first one is more simplest way of finding out attainment. This is for each course outcome, the mapping of program outcome you have to define. So what are the direct assessment? See, direct assessment is through courses 80%, maybe indirect assessment 20%. In my case studies, which I will be explaining, I will tell you what is the direct assessment and indirect assessment percentage I have taken. Then COs and program specific outcomes, program outcomes assessment, then PO and PSOs attainment. One is assessment, then another is attainment. Direct assessment is university examination, internal examination, tutorials, module test, and class test. Direct assessment rubrics are continuous assessment at laboratory. Indirect assessment is, if as far as course outcome attainment is concerned, take course exit survey. Course exit survey is the indirect assessment. Similarly, indirect assessment through different surveys for program outcome attainment, program exit survey, alumni survey, employer survey, external examiner survey feedback, industrial visit evaluation rubrics, in-plant training evaluation rubrics, guest lecture workshops, expert lecture, resource person feedback, guest lecture workshop, expert lecture, student feedback, parent feedback, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So, how CO attainment target. How to set a target for a course outcome attainment. Suppose on the first year of implementation of OB, suppose when you are implementing first year OB, it is not possible to know what should be the target. You do not know what should be the target when you are implementing first time, but you can decide the target after analyzing CO attainment for first year and then set a target to little higher level which you could achieve next year by carrying out remedial actions. Suppose this first year when you are implementing OB, your target is little low, but when you need to improve your target. The second year when you are teaching the same subjects, improve the target, do some remedial actions so that you could able to fulfill your target. Okay, yeah, I mean attainment target is 55%. The target is 55%. You look at it whether it is achieved or not. 53%, 50%. CO1 your attainment is 53%, 50%. Similarly, course outcome attainment of all assignments of aggregated at course level 53%, 50%. These are all okay. Then okay. Then again PO attainment, CO PO mapping, CO and PO attainment. I will take up this case studies. Okay. I have taken an example from engineering disciplines which we practice in our universities. Yeah, course outcomes, then program outcomes, right? So program outcomes, from course outcomes, it will go to take the input to the program outcomes. We have taken different subjects. Okay, look at this. In the first mid-semester examination, we ask questions from CO1, CO2, and CO3. In the to be CO1, CO2, CO3 to be covered in the first internal examinations. The second internal examinations, we cover CO4, CO5, and CO6. In the lab test and quiz test, CO1 to CO6, everything has to be covered. In the end semester examinations, it will cover everything because any questions can ask in the end semester examinations. So this is this. Okay, then questions. There are 3 questions first mid semester from CO1, CO2, and CO3. Second midterm examinations, CO4, CO5, CO6 questions are from CO4, CO5, and CO6. Quiz and doubt clearing classes, multiple questions covering all the COs. Then end semesters question comes from Q. There are 6 questions coming from all the COs from CO1 to CO6. Okay, this is CO course outcome. Will have this CO1, CO2, CO3, CO4, and CO5 course subjects. Okay, I'll take these examples. Course outcome. Look at this. Look at this. How we have done it. The term 1, I have taken five total. Question is 5 marks for first mid-semester examination. Second mid-semester examination, total score is 5, and third quiz test is again 5. End semester examinations, let us take an example 10. So total is 25. Total marks is 25. Suppose let us take an example. Total 25 marks contains first term examination, second term examination, quiz test, and end semester examination 25. Some students have got 15, 14, 20, 16. They have got this. What is the percentage? I put percentage in the right side. Then a score I put there. The score I put 3, 2, 3, 3, etc. So if it is above 60%, I put 3. If it is between to 40% to 60%, I 2. If it is less than 40%, I put 1 there. This is the strategy I have made here. In this, what happens is, similarly for that, what we have seen is the CO1, we got it as 2.82. Total is 141. 141 divided by 50. 50 is the total number of students. We got it as 2.82. Similarly, for CO2, CO3, CO4, CO5, and CO6, we have calculated the value. CO attainment equals to direct assessment and indirect assessment. So indirect assessment, what I have done is, for a particular subject, I asked some questions, incorporate them, because for human resource and management, my CO1 is incorporate themselves in the changing environment in human resource management. Second, CO2 is apply right recruitment and selection process. CO3 is understand the compensation management. So I have given this questionnaires to the students. Some students have selected 3, some students 2, and all that reported. So course exit survey. So this is indirect assessment. So this is the one I got it. My course exit survey reports. My sample size is 25. 25 students participated. So based on what they have given 1, 2, 3, I put it there. So CO1 is 1.68 because total divided by 25, 1.68. CO2 1.72. CO3 similarly 1.4, 1.52, 1.32, and 1.32. So direct assessment, this is the value. Without using course exit survey, if you are not using course exit survey, you can calculate CO attainment is 2.63 because all divided by 6, you got 2.63 if you are not using the course exit survey. If you use the course exit survey, this is the indirect assessment. If you use the course exit survey, let us assume that for CO attainment, direct assessment I have used 80%, indirect assessment I have used 20%, and in this, okay, in this what I have done is 80% I have taken from direct assessment, 20% I have taken from indirect assessment, then I have calculated the attainment. Without using course exit survey, you can calculate, with using course exit survey, you can calculate CO attainment, which is equals to 2.403. Similarly, for program outcomes, look at this. It's easy to understand, not difficult. Look at this. Course outcome, ED is engineering drawing, it is 2.63. Course outcome value is 2.63. So what is the relationship? So for program outcome 1, I have given a COPO matrix. How many course outcomes is aligned to that program outcome? So in that case, I have seen for the 40 different subjects which you study in engineering, a PO11 equals to 3 by 79 into 2.63. Why it is 3 by 79? 3 means the subject engineering drawing, the correlation level with program outcome 1 is 3. Highly correlated, strongly correlated. What is that 79? 79 means the total different course outcomes The total value is 79, which is mapped to program outcome 1 for all the courses, 40 different courses which you teach in engineering. All the courses, they map to program outcome 1, that is 79. 3 by 79 multiply by 2.63, that is the course outcome attainment of engineering drawing. You call it as 0.099. Similarly, you do it for all the subjects. Sigma of x I 1 I equal to 79, I equal to 1 to 40. Okay. Similarly, you can calculate the program outcome attainment by summing all the PO1, PO11, PO12, PO21, PO31. You can sum it them and can find out the program outcome attainment. Similarly, you can do it for program outcome 2, 3, 4, 5 up to PO12, as well as program specific outcome 1, specific outcome 2, and specific outcome 3. PO attainment equal to direct assessment and indirect assessment. In the indirect assessment, we take input from different stakeholders, like we have program and survey, alumni survey, and employer survey. Similarly, program and survey, we have some questions. There are 12 questions I've asked. Students have given score also 0, 1, 2, 3. For alumni survey, we ask questions. For employer survey, we ask questions. And PO attainment, we have made direct assessment 70% plus indirect assessment 30%. So if you do that, PO1 we have calculated from direct assessment 70% we have taken. For indirect assessment, we have taken 10% course and survey, 10% alumni survey, and 10% employer survey. If you do that, PO attainment you got 2.9, 3.00. All that value you got in the last column. Outcome based education. You have program outcomes, outcome of the program, then direct assessment 70%, which you will take from all the course outcome attainment, knowledge of subjects during the program. Then indirect assessment 30%, we take from students, exit survey, alumni survey, employer survey. Actions taken for improvement of program outcomes and program specific outcomes when you are teaching the same subject next year. Many projects can be introduced, many subjects to enhance the design skills. Home assignments can be given to the students for practice. Remedial classes, action taken to bridge curricular gap. Weak and bright students, strategies for bright students, strategies for weak students, industry institute interactions, industry collaborations, industry interactions, add-on courses, student projects, and internships. Okay, I will not talk about teaching learning because already I have exceeded 15 minutes. Connect. I will another 3 to 4 minutes. I will close this. We must help students to connect new ideas what they already know. Students have some idea. Okay, the connecting the new idea is most important. Construct their own new knowledge. Apply the new knowledge in ways that are different from the situation in which it was learned. Okay, this is something like I'll not see. I was talking about learning, unlearning, and relearning. I was talking about learning, unlearning, and relearning. Okay, if you want teaching learning, if I ask teaching learning, the answer is always learning. We want student-centric learning. Students should learn in the classrooms. Passive learning, active learning. If I ask, always we want active learning. If I ask whether you want active learning or interactive learning, we always want interactive learning. Continuous improvements in the outcome is important. We should move from instruction paradigm where we are giving instructions. Teaching paradigm is it produces learning, learner centered, cooperative learning, collaborative learning, problem solving methodologies, improving the critical skills of the students and creative thinking of the students. Critical thinking skills and creative thinking skills of the students has to improve. We go for project based learning, we go for experiential learning, we go for team building, we go for collaborative learning and cooperative learning and supportive classroom situations. Always the instruction paradigm is a subset and learning paradigm is a superset. Instruction paradigm plus apply different teaching pedagogy, teaching methodologies in the classroom. Instruction paradigm plus apply the collaborative learning, cooperative learning, supportive learning, problem-based methodologies, experiential learning. Then your creative thinking, critical thinking skills, then only learning happens, then only student-centric learning will happen. So change is possible only when I change the way I look at the issues. So be the change that you wish to see in the world. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, this is, yeah, very important that uh, if a child cannot learn the way we teach, it is not the mistake of the child. If a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way he learned. Maybe we should teach the way they learn. That's very important. Uh, They all tell me, I will forget. Show me, I will remember. Involve me, I will understand. So make the students participate in the classroom. It's very important. What teacher is more important than what he teaches. The greatest sign of success for a teacher is to be able to say, the children are now working as if I did not exist. This is I was talking about. Intelligence profile. It's very important that Howard Gardner has given a wonderful intelligence profile, a theory of multiple intelligence. It applies. It applies to all educational scenario students. We should see that all students should increase the intelligence profile of the students defined by Gardner's. We need to understand what is the prominent intelligence. It implies faculty has to structure the teaching classroom activities to suit the profile of its learners. Second one is the opportunities to be given to provide opportunities to learners to demonstrate their learning through methods that match with their personal intelligence profile. Third one is most important, faculty to strengthen the areas that appear at the lower end of the intelligence profile, identifying the prominent intelligence and least intelligence, improve the least intelligence by applying the prominent intelligence. So expectation from future engineers, you should know everything, do anything, work with anybody, anywhere, imagine and make it a reality. Everything in your life is a reflection of choice you have made. If you want a different result, make a different choice. You know, sometimes there are reactive people, will have reactive. I'll be happy when I have full establishment. If only I had a good boss, I will perform better. If I had respect from students, if I could just have management days, if the environment was more conducive. These are all reactive. Always try to be proactive. I can be a better role model. I can be more organized. I can be more resourceful. I can be more loving, understanding. I'll be more diligent. I can seek out personal and be able to understand. To achieve quality, we need to work together, collaborate with others, tolerate differences, respect diverse views, because none of us is as smart as all of us. In life, it is not most talented who survive, not the most intelligent, but the ones who are most responsive to change. And the real change can happen only when you listen to your inner voice, the intuition, and it is never too late. Take risks in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide. They're all my references. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions? We'll take it up, or Tamal, already I am delayed by 20 minutes. Tamal, is there any questions to take it up?
Oh, thank you, Professor Amya Kumarat. It was a wonderful session. We were appreciating your program outcomes, program specific outcomes, course outcomes, and all the diagrams. Very lucidly you have presented. Now we have some questions. Will you be able to take it, Professor Amyo?
Yes.
Yeah, Professor Swadi Suneja. Swadi Suneja, raise your hands. Please, we have unmuted you, madam. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So actually, I was looking at the presentation. So I was asking if I could be made the same presentation. I'm driving right now back to my home. There are a few points which I've missed. So, if possible, can you please mail us the presentation? So it was a huge one, like having more than 150 slides, if possible. Did you hear me, sir?
Yes. Well, send the mail ID.
So can I spell it because I
Send
am
the mail
driving
ID.
right now?
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, please send the mail ID.
Next question.
Can I spell it, sir? It is Swati dot Suneja.
If you have any
I am
questions to
driving
ask,
right now.
Raz, can you find out if there is
Follow
any question?
Ma'am,
Anybody has
regarding the
any-
presentation with all the email IDs registered, we will be able to push you. Any questions from your side?
That's all, sir. Then you can send it on the director
Okay.
mail ID, which is registered, right, sir?
Okay, okay, okay. Next is Dr. N. Rupavati. You are
Sir,
unmuted. Please speak.
sir, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, Dr. Rupavati.
Sir, excellent content and delivery, sir. Thank you very much. Is there any other practices we have to implement the outcome-based education to slow learners, sir?
Yeah, it's very important that make the students participate in the classroom, because even if they are slow learners, the first one is giving the content to the students. But how to give the content to the student is important. What is the technique you are following for giving input to the students? One is giving the technical content, another is making the students practice. What you are teaching is students should practice. Even if it is a slow learners, make them understand the content. Apart from that, how they can practice, how they can participate in the classroom is important. Okay, students should participate in the classroom. It is the duty of a faculty member. Faculty has to take little extra load to make the students participate, and you should have a classroom situations like round table, just like that we used to go for a dinner, and we used to have round table, and give some problem to the students, even though they are slow learners. Make one slow learners, one bright learners or advanced learners together in one particular chair, one particular table. Tell them, give some problems to them, let them try to solve it, let the slow learners also to participate. That is the way you can see that the slow learners has to improve the competency profile or skills.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, there is one more question from the chat box. Lot of compliments are there. The question is from Vijay Vallabh Barthwal, Dr. Vijay Vallabh Barthwal. How we can implement OBE in our rural areas where we have not have proper infrastructure, lack of training facilities regarding the assessment and accreditation and quality issues. Professor Amyo.
Yes, actually, to implement OBE, you don't require a fantastic infrastructure. I will tell you, under the tree with 20 students, 50 students, faculty has to play a proactive role. To implement outcome-based education, faculty has to play a role, not the digital infrastructure, not any other infrastructure. If faculty is a main source of inspiration to the students, faculty has to play a significant role to implement OBE in the classroom. Okay, because when you are preparing course outcomes, when you are preparing program outcomes, you have defined what is the knowledge, skills and competencies, behavior and attitude of the students will be developed when they move from the raw materials to the finished product. Okay, if you have to do lot of activities, faculty members have to do lot of activities to take a student from the raw material stage to the finished product and finally the employability. Okay, it's not that you need rural colleges. You can do better outcome based educations than anybody else, in my point of view.
There is two chat questions before I could go. There is 1 minute. Chat questions about modified medical 1 minute. There is a chat question. Just a minute, please. So, how to improve the industry institute interaction? How to improve G. Prabhadana? How to improve the industry institute interaction? And second, one more, you take it, please. Dr. Shashank Dalvi. Competency-based medical education can we refer as modified outcome-based education, sir? Competency-based medical education can we refer as modified outcome-based education?
see, outcome-based education is, if you look at the theme of or the main moral of outcome-based education is, we will go on teaching in the class. Whether the students are learning, what is the outcome of student is important. What is the outcome of a course is important. What is the learning experience of a student? If you put it in a, whether it's medical education, whether it is, I mean, the questions you have posed, the outcome is, whether it is advanced version of outcome, whatever it is, the learning experience of a student is important. The learning experience of a course, the learning experience of a program, as well as program educational objectives are most important. It's not only employability, it is beyond employability. Okay, we want that, finally we want that apart from employability, apart from education, apart from literacy, one has to be a good human being. That's very important. So it's beyond everything, right? Okay, the learning experience, as I mentioned, the learning experience is most important in outcome-based education. So, Samit, one more question. Industry institute interactions. So when we talk about industry institute interactions, what is your objective is important first. Okay. So when we go for, say, which industry will fulfill our objectives or support us to fulfilling our objectives is important. Okay. First, you need to do your groundwork, right? Then you need to interact with industries. First of all, you start with a presentation by inviting industry personnel to the students. Try to find out how many students are interested in the objective of the industry, right? In that way, you can have industry institute interactions and see that your objectives, whatever you set, has to be fulfilled.
Sir, there are now chat questions are over. We have Q&A questions. Dr. M, move in then. Dr. M, move in then. Sir, can you kindly explain how to measure and record creative ex-oral skills, public speaking skills of students? How to measure and record?
Public speaking skill is, I will tell you one thing. In every function, first of all, in every functions, in many institutions, I find there used to be two or three anchors, one boy and one lady. Throughout their career, throughout 4 years or 5 years they study, they used to be the anchor for all the programs. For any small program you conduct in the institute, maybe department wise, maybe institution wise, you give all chances to students. Whenever you take a video, so which we have practiced, which already we have practiced, you tell the students, at least speak for 1 minute about themselves, record it. You record it and send a mail to him. Let him see what he has spoken, and what is the body language, and what is the communication skills. Again, after 15 days, again you record it. Again you take the recording of students. In that way, what happens is, slowly you will find that body language, and try to tell the students that try to see the video in front of the students, and what is the positive and what is the negative, try to discuss with the students. You will go on practice, you will find that over a period of time you will be a very good speaker. Then you slowly you tell to the proctor that these are the students, they should improve, and give a topic to them, give a small topic to them, motivate the students for a seminars, for a group discussions, and tell them to practice in the class. In that way, over a period of time, they will improve the public speaking, which we have practiced it. Whatever I'm telling in this forum, we have practiced it, and we have seen that over a period of time, students will improve the communication skills as well as public speaking, and give them a chance to anchor in a annual functions, in a conferences, in a seminars. Give them a chance to anchor, so that they will practice and slowly they will improve the public speaking.
Thank you, Dr. AKR. Now from Dr. R. Parthiban, 2 questions. We will take this as the last questions, because chat, all the questions are over, only compliments, and we'll check whether anybody has raised their hands. Dr. R. Parthiban has raised 2 questions. National Education Policy specifies about competency-based education. How come OBE can complement it?
Yeah, NEP specifies about
NEP
competency-based.
specifies about competency-based education. How come OBE can complement it?
See, what is, you try to understand what is competency. I was focusing more on competency when I was talking about program outcomes, course outcomes. So competency of a student has to be developed. See, whenever you are teaching in the class, whenever I was talking about program outcomes, I've defined after completing a program, what are the knowledge, skills, and competency of a student? What you need? What is your objective? What you want to communicate to the students after over a period of 3 years or 4 years? What is the competency of a student should be developed? When you have designed it, when you have finalized, I spoke about 12 graduate attributes. Apart from knowledge and skills, apart from knowledge in the subject, conduct research, lifelong learning, then teamwork, team building, professional ethics, environment sustainability, all those points are nothing but the attributes. There they will develop the competencies, right? In outcome-based educations, the skills, knowledge, and competency of the students is to be developed. It is the duty of faculty members to see that all those skills and competencies of the students should be developed. That is all competency. You give any name, competence-based education, skill-based education, outcome-based education, you give any name, any synonymous, because ultimately creative thinking, critical thinking, experiential learning, problem-based learning, project-based learning, collaborative learning, cooperative learning, team building, these are all will be developed by the students over a period of time, make the students from the raw materials to the finished product, so that they will be employable in the market.
More question. Thank you. One more question from our same Dr. R. Parthiban. How and call institution can project the attainment of OBE, to the team,
How an
institution can project the attainment of OBE to the team.
So when we talk about attainment, see, when we talk about attainment of a course outcome means the entire, say, you are calculating the course outcome. See, you have a target. For every student, you are finding what is the attainment level. Okay, in that way you have a target and you have an attainment. What course outcome attainment? When we talk about course outcome attainment, that is all for all the students. Similarly, program outcome attainment, you have fixed the target. Okay, target may be your placement also. Target may be the, how many students, more 90% of the students will get more than 85% of marks. That may be your target. So if you are fulfilling the target or not, that is the attainment of course outcome, attainment of program outcome.
There is one more, the last one, Dr. M. Muvendhan. Employment opportunities, foreign collaborations, alumni contribution through financial aid are very, very scarce in the rural institutes. Please suggest a solution.
Now, slowly, that is a process. Actually, it will improve over a period of time. Many institutions you are talking about foreign collaboration. See, it's all important that you first, suppose in a particular research area, in theme area, one of your faculty members is working. Let us tie up with a good institute in the similar theme, national, any IIT or any NIT, any institution. From there, you have a foreign collaboration. Always for a rural college, if your theme is fixed, you are working in a theme, try to find out in nationally who is the person working in the same theme. That person will have some collaboration foreign also. If that is the way you can have foreign collaborations, foreign faculty collaboration, it should start with the faculty, right? Faculty collaborate with nationally good reputed institutions, then jump to foreign collaboration through the faculty members. That is the route.
Dr. Preeti, you are unmuted. Kindly pose your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your enriching presentation, sir. So my question is, how can we apply Bloom's taxonomy in our evaluation process in our college?
See, as I was mentioning, first of all, whenever you are sitting, whenever you are setting a mid-semester examination, question number 1, apply this CO3. Write down their CO3. In the mid-semester examinations, in most of the colleges, those who are practicing outcome-based education, they will write CO3 there. Second questions, write down the questions, write down CO1 there. Okay. First of all, do that exercise. So how many questions you are asking from? Suppose all the mid-semester questions are from CO1, CO2, and CO3. Write down in the question CO1, CO2, CO3. Find out from CO1 how many students scored out of 10. How many students have scored? Total 60 students. How many CO1? How many students? CO2? How many students? CO3. In that way, you can find out. Course outcome in evaluations also you can find out from there.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So one more is there. Malati Vishwak Kesanan. Does OBE demand more number of class tests? Does OBE demand more number of tests?
OB is right. As I was mentioning, students' learning is most important. See, test means you can have some kind of collaborations with the students and together they let them solve a problem. Give a quiz. It's not that a formal test which we used to call it as a mid semester, which we call it as a end semester. Every class, or maybe out of, if you want to practice OB, out of 50 hours of lecture, when you teach the students 10 hours or 15 hours, see, you start with a brainstorming, which we used to practice. Give a simple keyword, what the students feels about it. You start with there. Then go with your team building and all that which I was mentioning. Formal test is different, and learning or high order thinking skills of the students, incorporating high order thinking skills of the students, they are different. My point is not only providing or giving tests to the students, but important is you make the students participate in your classroom. Make the students participate in your classroom is important. It is the duty of, say, I will tell you around 2009 or so, I have two role play I have conducted. I'll give examples. I have taken a videography also. I have taken some final year students of BTech Computer Science. I have told them what you are supposed to do. It is just a role play. Role play is just some students have played the role. The third year students, they were observing it. And I have given the questionnaires, around 30 questions I have shared with the students. I could see that 95%, more than 95% of the students, they have answered correctly. So I was trying to find out how a role play is effective in teaching learning process. So I mean, see, it is all that you need to do lot of activities. You need to do lot of teaching methodologies, but faculty members has to play a major role. Faculty members has to play a major role to implement this OB outcome-based educations or practicing teaching methodologies in the classroom. It is only due to the faculty members, if then only this will be effective.
Questions, everything has been answered. And two people again have raised their hands. Dr. N. Rupavati, we have answered your question. Again, Preeti. Again, Dr. R. Parthiban. So we will just unmute Dr. R. Parthiban. I think the people who have raised their hands, you have to unraise your hands, lower your hands, unless you wanted to again take it, because 5:15 we started. We would like to close. So this will be the last. Dr. R. Parthiban. Dr. R. Parthiban.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Thank you for your wonderful informative session, sir. There is a conflict between different institutions. Somebody is saying that we should not ask questions in case 5 and case 6 related to the creativity and the interpretation. But many people are arguing that we have to ask questions up to K3 and K4 only. As research contribution only, we can go for K5 and K6. Is it correct or wrong, sir? Can you correct me, sir?
There is some disturbances. I could not
Sir, some disturbance was there. Your question was not clear, sir. Dr. R. Parthiban, you can put it in the chat box. You can put it in the chat box. Ramesh Jaya. Dr. Ramesh Jaya.
Yeah. Good evening, Professor. Thanks to NAAC for organizing wonderful, excellent OBE and accreditation process presentation. My question is, in the National Educational Policy 2020, a lot of strategies has been mentioned for students as well as faculty. Whether all the strategies has been incorporated into OBE and accreditation process, or is there any strategy to be included?
Sir, when this outcome-based, when this national education policies will be implemented, definitely we are working on it. Okay, we are all again working on it. We'll try to find out, because in our manual also there are certain questions are there on outcome-based education. We are working on how to incorporate whatever has been said in national education policies. This is very early to answer these questions, but still I am giving you assurance that we are working on it.
Professor, thank you, Professor Ramya Kumar Rath, for this wonderful deliberation on outcome-based education. Because telling from the first slide to the last slide, so many slides we have been numbering, and people were requesting, and lucidly you were explaining all the questions and convincing answers. And ladies and gentlemen, we have series of NAAC webinars. People are watching on Cisco WebEx, on live on Twitter, Facebook, as well as on YouTube. We have a series of NAAC awareness programs. Kindly register for all the whichever is possible. And in addition to that, we have international webinars. Please do participate, register and participate. In our third one, we are having this thematic webinars, like one on creative thinking skills. Now this is on OBE. Now we are continuously having. Please do encourage and participate, and tell your faculty, teaching staff, everyone. Thank you for your patient listening. I would like to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the Director NAAC, Professor S.C. Sharma, our colleagues, for all our colleagues, and the ICT team, the people who are helping us at the ICT, and all the people who are watching us live, and the people who have raised the questions and deliberation. We would like to thank you one and all. Special thanks to our chief guest, the people who have just presented, Professor Ramya Kumar Rath, for his wonderful discourse on outcome-based education. Thanks to one and all. Jai Hind.